Hello, this is the Animation Fanatic, and boy, do I have a review for you today. It's a review and a retrospective, I guess. And today, I'm first going to apologize. I'm a little late with this because I actually didn't know that Shaolin Chronicles, the what appears to be the first three episodes of the whole series, were going to premiere on August 26th. I thought it was only going to start in September, but can you blame me? There seems to be an underwhelming amount of attention given to this. Wikipedia hasn't even given it its own page yet. Shaolin Wiki doesn't even seem to know anything. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong places, but anyway, I'm going to take a look at this. But first, let's get some background. Background for me and background for Shaolin Showdown. This is going to be more of a review for those of you who have experience with the show like me. So, I started out with Shaolin Showdown, I think when I was 9 or 10 years old. I think 2004, 2005. I got into the show at the beginning of the season finale arc, the season 1 finale arc. If you remember when Raimundo turns evil, it's like a I think it was 3 or 4 parts. It was pretty long, actually. It was the first time I'd experienced an arc that was so long, and yeah, I'd never seen the show before, and I really enjoyed it, so I continued to watch it, and I watched it every week on the WB until it stopped, and I watched it on Cartoon Network constantly until actually it stopped. I was I was a huge fan. I knew all the Shingon Wu. I knew all the characters. I knew everything about them. I knew all the plots of all the episodes. I I'm not ashamed to say I loved playing in the backyard with my friends, pretending to be Shaolin warriors using the Shengon Wu. It was all really cool. It was it was a lot of fun. Was that the best show ever? No. Was it kind of trying to cash in on anime? Maybe. Was it fun? Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. It was really entertaining. It was just it was a great show, and I was so disappointed, so disappointed when I finally realized it wasn't coming back anytime soon. I thought the season 3 finale was pretty good, and I couldn't wait to see the continuation of it, but nothing happened. And I gave up on the show, really. I gave up on it, like I'm sure a lot of you did. And lo and behold, I think earlier this year, I'm just thinking, hey, remember that show Shaolin Showdown? And I go and look it up, and I realize it's coming back. It's finally coming back after all these years. I can't believe it. I think I heard something about the creator has really been busting her ass about trying to get it back on and stuff like that. So now we have it. Now we have the first season is already in production. The second season might be, unless it gets canceled, and some people seem to think that. But here we have the sequel slash reboot of Shaolin Showdown all these years later. Now, I'm going to get into why it's a sequel slash reboot, and I'm also going to get into the plot of the episodes. I'm going to look at the characters and how they've changed. So this is going to be a longer review than usual because I'm going to have to cover a lot of ground. Now, first off, let's get to the characters. Let's get to the characters and some changes. Personality-wise, they're the same. These are the same personality-wise characters, mostly. The main four monks are kind of the same. Master Feng is still the wise old master, Karate Kid inspired magic Asian man. If you pardon that term, it seems to be sort of a thing that keeps happening. The wise Asian guy who solves your problems. Excuse me. But besides, yeah, Dojo's still kind of hyperactive and weird. They changed his carrot color, which I don't mind too much. The yellow is it's a little jarring at first, but it's fine. He's still Dojo more or less. Size thing they kept. I was kind of worried for a second that they get rid of that. As we see the other characters, we didn't get too much into the other quote unquote alliance of evil. I guess we still got I forget what the sumo wrestler ninja guy's name was. I remember he was a pretty, he wasn't a frequent villain, but he could be fairly dangerous, fairly skilled, and yeah, they still have his dog actually. I'd forgotten about the dog. We have Catnappy's the same, Ogre is the same. Wuya, this is the first part of contradiction in this whole show is Wuya is now ghost form. She finished the previous series she was still in human form, powerless human form, but still human form, and somehow they went back to Grandmaster Dashi, locked her in a spring, and I was like, wait, didn't we go over this already? What the heck? And this made me actually think that this was a complete reimagining for a little bit, but until they mentioned other things, but I'll get into that. And even they even joke about it, and the joke's kind of funny, you know. Dojo says, "Oh, wasn't it a puzzle box?" But yeah, it was kind of weird. Why did they put her back there? Why is she back like this? And she seems to. And then the weird thing is, she and Jack. Not only do they mention having fought Jack before in the show, she knows Jack. It's not like they're meeting for the first time. She's just cool with going back to being with Jack. She's a little less negative about him and everything, but it's just weird. It was jarring to see that whole thing changed. And as to Jack Spicer, I will say he's kind of the same doofus that you remember, but he acts a little bit differently. He just seems, when I first saw him, I was like, why is he acting so crazy or weird, or just I think the actor who's doing him might be trying to overdo it, right? Be trying to make him seem overly comical or insane or something like that, and that's not Jack Spicer. He's comic relief villain, but he's not that off the wall. Jake Young is I remember Jake Young being kind of calm and collected and just really intimidating. He was always, to me, one of the probably the most threatening, most powerful villain in the whole show. But here he's laughing a lot. I do like they kept the lizard transition thing. I'm not sure. I like it that they do different voices for Chase and for his lizard form. They kept the lions and tigers and panthers and everything. That's cool. I've been mentioning the voices here. Let me get into that. The voices are all pretty much different, except for Omi, who's still voiced by Tara Strong. I've heard there were issues because this is now a fully Canadian production instead of Canadian American. I don't know if there were issues with like bringing people over the border to work or something like that, but yeah, the people are trying to do similar voices, but it doesn't work out so well. Kimiko's is pretty good, I'd say, but everybody else just sounds like, you're just not doing it. I actually kind of like Chase's new voice. It's less calm and collected, but for the way they've taken the character, making him just kind of a bad guy, I guess it works. And the lizard voice is cool. And maybe I'm forgetting something, but wasn't Hannibal Bean still around? The Master of Evil, Mr. Moby Morpher? I don't know. I guess we'll wait for him. But we don't have all returning characters now. We've got two very important new characters, and I'm excited and disappointed. Let me get to Ping Pong first, who is, at the conclusion of this 3-episode arc, or mini-movie, whatever you want to call it, is now one of the new Shaolin monks. I don't know what to think about him. I always thought wood as an element is kind of stupid, but... And it is stupid. It is stupid. Why they couldn't find anything else besides wood. Honestly. Wood. But besides that, if that were just it, I could get over it. But Ping Pong's not... He almost doesn't seem like a new character, at least visually. He's just smaller Omi with glasses or shades or whatever, and with a more high-pitched voice, and he acts a lot like Omi. Maybe not as ignorant as Omi usually is, but he's just hyperactive, eager to serve, eager to do all this kung fu, whatever, be a Shaolin monk stuff. And yeah, it's like if you wanted to add a new character, try adding a legit new character, like Shadow slash Willow. I'll get into her in a second, but if you wanted to add a new character, add a real new character. Don't just be lazy and copy a previous one. That's that's stupid. And my gosh, I hated it when Ping Pong. I think Ping Pong is supposed to be from Europe or France or something like that, but I just wanted to shoot myself every time I heard him use any kind of French or Spanish word. It was like, shut up. Just shut up and don't speak anymore. Okay? Plus, if you are from France, why aren't you just speaking in all French? Why are you using Spanish words? What are you, Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean. But he's not. He's not Mr. Bean, and he's not. And but that's stupid. Is that a character quirk? Is that supposed to be witty? Is that funny? I'm not laughing, and I laugh at a lot of stupid things. That's disappointing. Other than that, he's fine. He's Omi too, kind of. He's really eager to serve and help. He's kind of a badass. He's not badass, but he's pretty good at fighting. He beats Jack Spicer in the first episode, and he always tries to help and do the best he can. He's pretty resourceful too. He manages to get out of the dungeon he's in the third episode. I like his character. It's just it seems lazy and annoying at parts. Like the language thing. It's really stupid. And if I were in there, I would probably hit him for that. It's yeah, disappointing. But anyway, moving on, we come to our next new character, well, so far at least. Shadow, or Willow, as she's called by the monks. She's one of Chase Young's associates, new. We haven't heard a backstory yet, but yeah, strong female villain. Or as the nostalgia chick would say, strong independent woman. I apologize, that joke was probably beneath me. But anyway, back to Shadow slash Willow. She's used by Chase Young throughout the 3 episodes to sort of infiltrate the monks and get the combination to the Shengang Wu, presumably to depower them, and have him be able to destroy the Shaolin Temple. It seems strange. Chase Young never really uses or seems eager to get Shengang Wu, and it seems strange to have him want to get them at all, although I understand it was to keep the Shaolin monks from fighting back, but what was his goal? To destroy the Shaolin Temple, I guess, but that's all he succeeded in doing, is knocking down a few buildings. His enemies are still alive, still well, and still able to fight, more or less. So yeah, he hasn't really advanced anything. And next, was he supposed to be Halen in the previous show or not? Not that it matters, they've changed so much. But yeah, I don't know. Animation. Let's get to the animation portion of this. This is traditional 2D animation. I'm very happy about that. We've seen a lot of 3D, rise of 3D, rise of, different, what I call the Pixar animation style. And I'm glad that the show is using 2D. I don't mind the Shaolin Showdowns being in 3D. I really don't. I think it's cool. I think it works out. The Shaolin Showdowns are supposed to be sort of strange, trippy-looking fights, so that's okay. They could do a lot with that, and they could do a lot worse. I'm cool with it. And besides, it doesn't necessarily happen every episode, as I'll explain in a moment. But it's cool. The animation works fine. Some of the characters are designed just slightly differently. Like I said, Master Feng's beard's longer, Dojo's a different color, outfits are a little different, but that's nothing really to complain about. That's just differences. Jack Spice was pretty much the same. So are the quote-unquote Alliance of Evil, more or less, except for I gotta look up his name. But anyway, Shengang Wu, the heart and soul of probably a lot of this show. They're what drives the fights, they're what drives the conflict a lot of the time. It all revolves around them. So basically, the Shengang Wu are, as you know if you've seen the show before, are magical items hidden all over the world by Master Dashi. Only Dojo or Wuya can really find them very easily. Somehow Chase Young does. I'm not sure how he did that, but whatever. Oh, yeah, Shadow. Yeah, he probably got her to show him. But anyway, the Shengang Wu have been altered, I will say. There's new ones. We're actually introduced to a new one at the beginning of the episode. I think it's called the Bubble. Jeez, like the problem with the Shengang Wu, the first problem is the names are too long. The names are too long and too complicated, and that's amazing because usually they were really quick, really easy to say, and easy to remember. Reversing Mirror, Fist of Temigong, which is now the Fist of Earthquake. I don't know. They were really quick and really easy to remember. Shroud of Shadows, blah blah blah. But now they're longer. I can't remember what any of them were called because they were so confusing. And I don't think I even heard it took me a while to even catch Raimundo's. I was like, what are you saying? What? But and the names are different. Like Star Hanabi is something else. Sword of the Storm is something else. Fist of Temigong is something else. Orb of Tornami is Orb of Torpedo. It's Monkey Staff is Monkey Spear. Shroud of Shadows is Camo Jacket, whatever. They're taking the basis of the Shengang Wu. Tangle Webcomb is now Medusa Comb. They're taking the basics of them, but now they're changing just their names. Sometimes they're changing like what exactly they do. In the case of the Shroud of Shadows or Camo, whatever it's called. And that's really aggravating. That's really I don't know if that's copyright demon again, but it's not fun and it distracts any old viewers. What I guess the bottom line of this show is that new fans are really gonna enjoy this, and especially since it seems to be aimed a little bit younger, maybe a year or two younger than it was before. It seems a little more childish than it was previously, but again, these are the first 3 episodes. We've yet to get into a serious season finale, but it's jarring for previous viewers, and I would suspect there'd be a lot of us. The problem with shows is that they can't entirely ignore older audiences. They have to accept that this is a part of the fan base, a part of who they are, and a part of what comes with making an animated show. And finally, we have the plot. So basically, this is a small little arc, these 3 episodes. It starts out with the Shaolin monks being promoted to a new level. Apparently they're all the same level that Raimundo got at the end of the previous one. Great continuity, everyone. So now they have to train a new apprentice or whatever. I thought apprentice level was like a step up, or it's confusing. Last time I saw them, they were all Wudai warriors. Whatever. Okay, whatever. So they gotta train a new apprentice. Ping Pong shows up, does his thing. They have some exposition. Then, Wuya gets released. They find out there's a new Shengang Wu. They go rushing off. They save this girl named Willow, who seems a tad suspicious. And then they go and they have a Shaolin showdown. Ping Pong defeating Jack Spicer in the Shaolin showdown. Another thing about that I forgot to mention is that they say after they say I wager my blah blah blah, which I have the suspicion they're going to say every time. In the last show, they didn't always say I wager. But what they're also doing is they shout, "Let's go, Shaolin Showdown, Gong Yi Tanpai," which they didn't do until the showdown was just about to start. There was a brief break in the previous show. There was a brief break before they said, "Let's go, Shaolin Showdown." Then they said the thing. Then they started. But that's another thing that just takes me out of it. Finally, in the second episode is a lot about Willow trying to get the combination to the Shaolin Vault, which another thing that I find weird. In the previous show, the vault is pretty much open all the time. I think even Dojo complains that Master Feng should put a padlock on it or something like that, but Omi's not like the keeper of the vault. Everyone can go in and out of it whenever they want to and get a Shengang Wu. It's seen, that's actually a major part of the plot in several episodes, is the fact that they go down there and they grab Shengang Wu. Raimundo couldn't have gone off with the Sword of the Storm and the Golden Tiger Claw in the way he did several times without being able to just walk in there. But now Omi supposedly has the code, and he's the only one who knows where it is, and that's a lot of the second episode is Willow trying to get it from him, and eventually they go off to another Shengang Wu. And this is one plot point I kind of like. They left out a Shaolin Showdown. They didn't do a Shaolin Showdown in the second episode, which is very rare for an episode not to have a Shaolin Showdown. That usually only happens in the season finales, and I kind of like that plot point. But anyway, Willow sets up Ping Pong for messing everything up, and Ping Pong says, "Oh, I'm gonna leave." I hate saying his name. I hate that name now. And we get into the third one, where we see, I'm even forgetting things. It's more fighting, more Jack Spicer trying to get the Shengang Wu. Jack Spicer, Willow, and Chase Young, who had no reason to even compete in this, no reason at all, come in and fight each other for the Shengang Wu. And I don't think Chase Young can technically participate in a Shaolin Showdown without wagering something. I mean, wagering a Shengang Wu. That's not cool. Another plot point I forgot to mention in the first episode, Omi gets really upset at Ping Pong for doing the Shaolin Showdown. In the last series, Omi was never upset at not being able to do a Shaolin Showdown. If someone else got to it, he was okay. He was cool with them fighting it. He did the most Shaolin Showdowns. He was, out of all the characters, which I always found annoying because I was tired of seeing him doing it. I was like, could we get somebody else, please? But, yeah. Anyway, so the third episode ends with Shadow getting the combination, opening the vault, stealing the Shengang Wu, and yeah, the monks fighting but getting defeated, and I don't know why Master Feng has to go wander off, but now the monks are beaten but not down. And I'm sorry, I forgot there was a whole little thing about Ping Pong getting captured, but he got out of that. They were pretty decent episodes. They were decent plots and everything. It's just all the stuff that they changed distracts you. If these had been the plots and they hadn't had all the change stuff, I would be actually pretty happy. These are solid enough episodes. Maybe a little aimed more towards younger kids. I mean, it can get really annoying and stupid sometimes, but it's still pretty good. It's nothing bad. It's nothing annoying. Well, not too annoying. But unfortunately, they just changed so much. They retconned a lot of things, and I just wonder why. I mean, you're trying to make everybody happy, and you're making nobody happy. New fans, except for maybe brand new fans will be okay with it, but even then they're going to be like, what? Wait, what was that reference? If you wanted to start something completely new, do what the Transformers do what Batman does. Just completely start over again. Don't bother with all of this retconning thing. Leave that to the horror movies. They've been doing that for decades. It's okay if they do that. Don't involve other shows in this. Don't involve other franchises in this. It's not fun. It's just start a new world and throw in a reference or two occasionally. Or continue the story. If you're worried people won't be able to keep up with it, re-air the previous episodes. Or do a previously. Or something. I don't care. Just, yeah. So, you might think from all this complaining I hated this. I didn't hate it. I was a little disappointed and underwhelmed by it. But I'm going to stick around with this, just barely. I almost wanted to give up a few times, especially when Ping Pong was concerned, just yakking. But, yeah, I'm going to continue with this and see where it goes. And see what happens. One final complaint. Omi gives Kimiko a new Shengang Wu, fuzzy, woozy, whatever it's called. It makes the person kind of trip out a little bit. Fine enough, Shengang Wu. But she doesn't know what it does. She's never seen it before. That doesn't make any sense. The monks should know all the Shengang Wu that they have, and everyone should know about them. These were solid episodes, if not for all the changes. I'm going to keep on with this series, but just barely am I going to stay with it. So, next time I'll review, yeah, the Beware the Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the second season, Legend of Korra. It's all coming right, Total Drama Island, it's all coming right at us this whole month of September. This is gonna be a crazy, crazy time. The only thing better would be if Wolverine and the X-Men came back. I will see you later.